After setting up a camera in her home, YouTuber Kathy Nito turns out the light, and what comes after just might be a ghost. Watch for the white thing once Kathy is distracted.
Sorry, little belly.
Do you see that? Kathy believes this is a ghost. Well, I don't think it's a bug, as it appears to be too large and chaotic to be an insect. I'm not sure if my first thought would jump to the paranormal. It looks more like a spider web or some other flying debris to me. Still, whatever it is, it's creepy. Do you have any ideas as to what this could be? YouTuber Donnie Drunkard has been battling a poltergeist in his home for years now. This is one of his strongest pieces of evidence. As he's attempting to communicate with the poltergeist, he feels something touch him.
Kick. I like something touched me.
Later, using a Kinect, he sees an entity dancing around his bathroom. The entity slams his toilet seat down.
Holy that's
Watch closely and you'll see the lid fall. Is this poltergeist good or evil? What does he want from Donnie? I think I know. He wants a bit of privacy. This video was taken by a Redditor's father while they were walking around an old historic building. He claims to have been all alone in the room, and according to the Redditor, their father is a very serious man who doesn't lie about such things. So even though he is alone, he records someone standing next to him in the reflection of the case. They cross behind him and then suddenly are gone. And when he looked back at the video, he saw the arm and blue shirt of someone standing in front of him. I guess this video would be easy enough to stage. I don't think the Redditor would lie about something like this though. Perhaps if this historic building had CCTV, then we could possibly get another angle of this event to finally solve the mystery. I want to know what you think about this interesting paranormal video posted by Darkalooz. First, two pieces of his overhead vent fall off, but when it happens, the camera freezes. So is this an electronic interference from spirits, or is it poor editing? Next, this chair turns all by itself. It's by a window and behind a table, and therefore far out of reach. Perhaps eeriest of all are these two legs with no upper reflection. You would logically assume this is Darkalooz recording, but if it was, as one commenter points out, then where is the rest of him? A member of the Urban Ghosts Urban Exploration Team goes to a church that he believes has been taken over by a great evil. Watch this part and tell me if he kicks something nearby or not.
Last time was... Oh...
About 3 minutes later, he hears this noise coming from somewhere outside. It doesn't sound like an animal, and it certainly doesn't sound like a person. So is this a ghost? Outside, all of the lights are now on, when hardly any were before. Supernatural or just a timer. And one last thing, while walking around the perimeter, he chances upon this creature staring back at him through the window with red eyes. But since another red light is caught in the very next window over, I think it could just be the reflection of brakes from nearby traffic. The Drakelow tunnels in the United Kingdom was a classified nuclear bunker that mysteriously closed down from 1993. Almost no records of this place exist, but 3 men were once buried alive in a tunnel collapse. Shadow people are said to have been seen here ever since, and the Ouija brothers do capture some strange activity on camera, like this pitch black anomaly at 8 minutes and 45 seconds for example. Is this a black spirit orb or just a wall stain?
Walk towards my voice.
And a minute earlier, they catch this passing white apparition against the wall.
Could you make yourself known?
The timing of the appearance in relation to the question is quite abnormal, but is it paranormal? I think so. A video taken from an undisclosed neighborhood in East Texas captures on camera some scary noises from the woods at night. Scary noises that certainly have to be hungry wolves laying territorial claim.
Down by the way.
So if those were wolves, tell me what this next scary noise is, or more importantly, why it's coming straight towards him. People in the comments are saying that this sounds like a half-wolf, half-human creature. The uploader has lived here for a long time, and the scary voice in the woods is enough to send him running back inside, because he's never heard anything like it before, although he probably should have never gone outside to begin with if you ask me. According to one comment, there's been lots of reports of these scary noises in East Texas for years now, without a proper explanation. If you live here, then let me know if you've heard the unexplained screams and what you think they are. Lewis Clark and his friends want to check out this old abandoned train up close to see what's in it. All the train cars are mostly empty, but then they see something horrible in the caboose.
What is that? What the Oh my god.
The sheets are covered in red splotches and appear to have something heavy underneath them, but Lewis Clark and his friends don't dare unwrap them. They run away from the scene as fast as possible instead, jumping over a second sheet in the process. What was under these sheets, if anything, is anyone's guess, though many have speculated that both incidents could have been covering an actual body. As far as I know, Lewis Clark and his friends have not returned to unwrap the sheets, and they probably never will. Number 1. A YouTuber named Chris Lamb says that he was all alone when he shot this drone footage at Fort McClellan, Alabama, but the video says otherwise. You can clearly see that nobody is in the background at the beginning. But when Chris steadies the camera just a moment later, you can see someone standing by the street lamp. There's not enough time for anyone to walk out from behind a building, but yet here they are. Also, did you see how they seem to suddenly disappear in plain sight? I don't see any editing cuts, so I have absolutely no idea how this dark silhouette managed to vanish like that. Look again and you can definitely see them dematerialize. There's nothing wide enough for them to hide behind. They're just gone. Let me know if you think Chris Lamb's video is paranormal, extraterrestrial, or otherwise. When a YouTuber named Lil Goofy is exploring some trails with his friend, they decide to take a rest. That's when someone decides it's time to make them run. Somebody who's probably been following them for a while. The sun is settling, but there's still enough light to catch a potential lurker video on their helmet cam. At 1 minute and 8 seconds, they think the strange man waves hello, but he might be waving around something sharp instead. They debate what to do next, and then he makes the decision for them when he runs straight at them. They lose him fast and crouch down in the weeds to let the lunatic run past, and then they go back to their car. What's weird about this video, assuming that it's real, is that he's dressed like a normal person. You wouldn't think twice about passing the stranger on a trail until they are already following you. It's probably one of their friends, but we'll never know for sure, and that's what makes it creepy. This paranormal crew's third visit to this prison did not disappoint. CVS Paranormal enters Dorchester Prison, a criminal facility in which executions have been carried out. In previous investigations of this prison, the team has captured some truly eerie figures on camera, like this one. As the team enters, whispering is heard on the audio.
This is a big main entrance where down there is, big main entrance where down there is,
A second EVP captures a low growl.
Prisoner was in here. Prisoner was in here.
This is shortly followed by a door closing or opening.
Sounded like a growl or something. Like a growl or something.
And scratching noises.
This is a big one. Yeah, definite noises.
The singing is what's really chilling.
I swear I just heard singing. It sounded like it's coming from here as well.
Soldier.
Oh!
But it's when you're not searching for ghosts that they come find you.
Trust me.
It seems Dorchester Prison is truly rife with activity, but whether it's good or evil is anyone's guess. When you see a figure that you can only describe as an orc, then you know that reality has become a Tolkien novel. Published to the paranormal subreddit by Remola Day 2, the uploader purports to have caught real video evidence of just such a capture. The Redditor explains that he and his brother are arguing what this thing is that they caught on camera. Due to its size, he doesn't think it's human. He writes, his house is remotely located and the figure is coming from a huge field and not from the road ahead. Also, all the lights on the road and behind the tractor are turned on by sensor, so the ones on the road ahead shouldn't be lit. In the video, the creature appears to waddle past, definitely in an inhuman way. The second video shows the creature's large shadow before it waddles past again. The uploader claims that they've discovered 2 black leaves where the creature was walking, and the woods near which it passed had also begun to turn black, like it's rotting. Some in the comments say that the creature appears to be dragging something, like a deer, suitcase, or large bag. Others say it looks like Sasquatch or Hagrid from Harry Potter. What do you think this is? 2 friends return to a spot in the woods where they think someone could be living. Yesterday they were playing tag in this small clearing, and it looks like somebody was close to them the entire time. A trail of random trash leads them to a morbid discovery that they now truly regret seeing.
Dude, the hand is messed up, dude.
Nailed to the tree is an old doll with black and purple clothes and white hair over its face, which you never get to see. Still, the doll gives off such a strange feeling that they refuse to touch it with their bare hands, probing it with a stick instead. One of them hangs back, but the other needs to see what's under the long white hair. He pushes the filthy doll hair aside. The doll's face fills him with regret, and he is too stunned to worry about the camera, but his reaction really says it all.
Oh my God.
Later, he says that the doll's face was completely burnt, aside from driving a nail through its middle. The doll's fingers look to have either been chopped or chewed off one by one as well. Whether this was a group of kids or a traveling wanderer, whoever rips apart dolls for fun is definitely not the type of person you want roaming around a minute from your backyard. And on top of that, I'm not even sure if this doll is safe to show, because it could very well have been cursed. 2 friends sneak into a large abandoned house in Sellersburg, Indiana, and take a look around. They don't go into much detail about the local legends aside from mentioning this place has a long haunted history that dates back 3 decades, so they should be ready for anything. Most of the rooms are littered with nothing but rotting garbage, but a couple spaces look to be somewhat organized and even have furniture, so they start calling out to anyone who might be inside.
Hello? Is anybody here?
It isn't long before someone hears their calls and silently responds.
Dude, this is creepy. Oh my god, get the f*** out! Get the f*** out! Oh my god! Oh my god!
A tall figure wearing a Michael Myers mask passes by the doorway without a sound. Obviously, Michael Myers is a Hollywood legend and not a real person, but that doesn't mean there isn't someone who idolizes him a little too much. This could be a fake video, or maybe this is an imitator who dresses like this to keep intruders out of their home, in which case that blade might be real. This drone video, taken a couple hours away from Area 51 in Utah, depicts a small cylinder that could possibly be a UFO as it brushes by in a burst of speed. The fast disc approaches at a vertical angle before flipping over and passing the drone on a horizontal axis. This video could be CGI because the drone does not shake at all as it rushes by at a very high rate of speed. Or it could be some kind of military application that we were never meant to see. Despite that concern, everything else in this raw footage seems very authentic. Of course, the final possibility that no one wants to accept is that this flying saucer could be from another planet. On February 5th, 2002, Robert Pickton was taken into custody by a Vancouver police task force who had found personal items on his pig farm from a woman who had disappeared. There were no other clues aside from the missing belongings, such as a prescription inhaler and other items. In other words, enough evidence to hold him, but not enough for a solid conviction. Prosecutors needed more evidence, so on February 23, 2002, they sent one of their best undercover officers to pose as an inmate to try to get Robert to confess his actions. Robert hadn't had a friend in a long time and was more than willing to swap stories with what he thought was a fellow like-minded psycho. What he revealed was absolutely horrifying. The undercover officer leads the conversation by saying the ocean is the best way to get rid of the passed away. Roberts is quick to correct him.
I found the best way to hold something. In the ocean. Deeper than that.
With CCTV cameras rolling overhead, the undercover officer gets Robert Pickton to admit something he had not said to the detective in years. The reason they weren't able to find any of the passed away was because he had put them through meat processing equipment and most likely fed them to his pigs. When the undercover agent tries to get him to say more about what he's done, Robert gives us a glimpse into what a person like him thinks of the people whose lives he's taken. What's most terrifying of all about this is how they were nothing more to him than a number. He sees no individuality, nothing to make them human or set them apart. They are all the same to him, a number that he wants to make even for his own selfish satisfaction. Robert Pickton might have gotten away with all 50 acts, if not for this self-incriminating testimony, which was used against him. On December 11th, 2007, he was sentenced to life behind bars. He decided not to make a statement upon being sentenced. I guess he felt like he had already said enough. Filmed in Canada, this footage has some wondering if this is real. Posted by TikToker Flamecatcher2. In short, it is very real but super rare. Popular Mechanics explains that they are produced by heat plumes stretching miles into the atmosphere and colliding. Only a few anomalies have been recorded prior to this eerie clip. In fact, over the last several years, there have been a number of sightings both in 2018 and 2019. As they become more prominent, scholarly papers investigate how they are formed. This is but one case of it being caught on video, and as some TikTokers thinking this is the most terrifying thing ever, Master Sloth Gaming asks, has anyone tried turning the world off and back on again? Now that's a valid question. A photographer is under a bridge when he records what he calls a strange creature. Confused, he goes over to the spot and the mysterious figure is nowhere to be found. This supposedly unexplained sighting looks pretty good at first and had some people freaking out. With that said, once zoomed in, this video appears to be an up-close encounter of the CGI kind, because the creature's feet hardly seem to touch the ground as it walks. Though if this was real and you saw it, what do you think you would do? A person is recording at an old memorial site that is apparently haunted when something gets his attention. When they turn back around to record some more, they chance upon a girl dressed in modern clothes with long black hair covering her face and chest. Then she's gone. Something about this video seems natural and unplanned. I will admit that there is somewhat of a delayed reaction during the double take, but maybe whoever was recording could only see it on their screen and not in front of them. Or maybe this video is fake because the girl could have simply ducked out of sight. If the person recording had gone into the building and saw nothing, then I would be satisfied that this video is real. A YouTuber named Phoebe Mayhew made a scary face swap video from 2016 that's still an unsolved mystery to this day, and I'm hoping this is the year we can find an answer. So Phoebe makes a joke about having no friends to face swap with, when this invisible presence takes her up on her generous offer to change faces.
Hello, anyone want it?
The eerie apparition is apparently above her, and she switches places with something peering in from the highest point of the door. So the only thing in the corner that possibly looks like a face would be the overhead lighting. But when Phoebe tries to recreate the situation, nothing happens.
But it's definitely not the light it was doing it to. Because the light's over there and it's not doing it now.
Like I said, I don't see anything else in that doorway that could have set off the face swap. Do you? It makes me wonder if something tall and creepy was watching her and then vanished. This haunting just got a whole lot creepier. Posted by Raymond Powell to the Ghosts subreddit. The Redditor notes that this is an update on the disturbing happenings in his home. What are these happenings? The video shows some sort of pipe or tube on the counter start to roll one way and then the other. Next, a glass of water is seen disturbed slightly before being pushed clean off the edge. And lastly, a nearby recliner's footstool extends on its own. Many in the comments are completely creeped out by this clip. Miss Miley Moo wrote, "At the end, I turned the phone away for the last 10 seconds cause I didn't trust it. I definitely wouldn't trust this ghost either." This scary Randonautica is brought to you by YouTuber CJ Faison. While in Las Vegas, CJ ventured out to the random location he was sent to by the app. The Randonautica takes CJ and his crew into the middle of the desert, where they discover a photo of CJ taken with some female fans at the Mirage Hotel from 2014.
I'm literally shaking. I have chills up and down my body.
We've got nothing all day long.
Look at that.
We've been struggling.
Yo! That's a picture of me!
Yeah.
CJ says that one of the girls in the photo is named Julia. Alongside the photo is a note that includes CJ's full name and some other personal information.
The dark-haired girl in the middle, I met her in 2000 and I believe it was 2013 when I was racing in NASCAR at Richmond International Speedway.
Nearby, they also discover a wallet with some random stuff in it, including a room key for the Luxor, which is where CJ is staying.
Makes sense because we're in Vegas. There's another Luxor room key.
Oh, dude. I'm staying at the f***ing Luxor.
As they ponder this mystery in the desert, a couple of cars pass by and a girl shouts out at them, "Randonautica video boys, come on." Is it Julia? A YouTuber recalls another video that CJ shot where he's reading texts about him from Aaron Valentino. The YouTuber notes that these texts mention the year 2014.
Very well that you have stumbled upon this phone. I know many things about you. I know that you wish you could change some things that happened to your life in 2014.
The same year listed on Julia's picture, as well as the quote that CJ read on the back of the photograph. The quote was, "The ones who aren't afraid control life itself," which is a quote from infamous Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker. Yikes. Later, the crew notices something off in the distance watching them.
Hold on, give me a sec. Let me zoom out first. It's right there.
Oh.
person. Can you record that for the video?
Did someone plant this stuff here? Is that someone watching the group across several Randonauticas from Pocomoke Forest in Maryland to the desert outside of Las Vegas, Nevada? Several YouTubers in the comments think this crew is being tracked or their phones have been hacked into. Perhaps these Randonauticas aren't so random after all. Posted to the r/Chills Narrator subreddit, Redditor The Cheese is Moist writes, "If I'm tripping, then don't come at me in the comments, but is that star changing colors?" In the video, he zooms in on a star in the distance. The closer the zoom, the more clear it is that the star is rapidly changing colors. I've never seen a star ever do this before. Is it a satellite? Or is there something more nefarious at play here? A YouTuber named Julie G797 was watching live BBC News coverage of a workers' strike in Hong Kong when he catches what seems to be undeniable evidence of a UFO.
There you go. Look at that. Descending on the top of that building.
The mysterious green light hangs around the top of a building for only moments before shooting straight up into the sky. This footage was taken directly from the television screen and seems very hard, if not impossible, to fake. Right now, people are mostly debating if the light is too big to be a quadcopter drone. I guess it could be a drone, but if not, I think this very well may be a legitimate alien UFO sighting. A YouTuber called Wet Tent catches a poltergeist in action in his home. As evidenced by this slamming door, he shows that there is nobody on the other side and then waits for it to happen again. It's creepy until you see his window is open, so it could be a breeze. And here at 13 seconds, you can see a tag on his covers move in the wind. I just wanted to show this video because I think that it could help explain other videos with slamming doors. Still, I would not totally discount this video. Wet Tent should make a new one with the window closed and see if it still happens. Alyssa the Explorer rents a cabin in the woods, one that apparently has an extra guest inside.
This place is so cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
What the Somebody in there with you?
Something scary passes by, a ghost in the window behind her, or perhaps some kind of hunched over figure in robes. I really hope this is computer effects, because if not, she needs to climb out that window fast. This video takes place somewhere in the South American country of Chile during the middle of a street race. A number of cars rush past and soon an animal randomly materializes without making so much as a sound. Watch again in slow motion, and it really does appear as though the dog steps out of an invisible portal. You can see its front half emerge first, followed by the torso and back legs. Then again, the blurred edges around the dog's body does look like it could be made through editing. I am not an expert in video editing though by any means. So let me know if you think this is real or CGI and how you could tell the difference. Bryce Newbold describes this Ohio hiking experience through the Shawnee State Forest as a very rough trip, and by the end of this video you'll know exactly why. It's a hot summer's day and he has many miles ahead. By 4 miles he is drenched and walks about half a mile to drink from the river. His next source of water won't be until nightfall, and by then he will have walked 12 miles. By the second day he is feeling unusually miserable and drained and decides to take a shorter route.
I am absolutely covered in either little tiny ticks or chiggers. They're probably chiggers. They are all over me right now. I tried washing them off, but I mean, I'm gonna have to go through and pick them off one by one, it looks like.
He's looking pretty pale by the end of the day, even though he's been getting plenty of sun. That's because poor Bryce has been getting his legs chewed off by tiny ticks that won't give up, and by the end of the day it's looking pretty bad.
And I have a million bites from those little chiggers last night. You can see they're still on there.
By the time he gets back home, his legs and feet are covered in marks. I'm not a doctor, but I definitely would be going to one soon if I were him. That looks really bad, and I think it's probably time for a test or two to make sure you didn't get anything from them. I really hope he's okay and that nothing like this ever happens to him again. Will fish soon walk on land? It looks like one's already there. Published to the oddly terrifying subreddit, Redditor Big Black Onyx writes the cryptic message, "They are evolving." The mysterious video shows a large fish on a slab of snowy ice jutting into the water. The oddly terrifying fish appears to be standing up on its fins, taking in great gulps of air. Many have reacted to the walking fish, which has become the subject of numerous memes, originally appearing in iFunny, posted by user Saika Gamburger in December of 2019. The video has been viewed, liked, and tweeted millions of times, and that's perhaps due to its unnerving nature. Redditor Sci-Fi Ship Controller remarks, "Not sure what is more unsettling, that it stands or that it breathes." This ghost hunt turns terrifying fast. Published by Indra Saputra Official in April of 2022, Indra is exploring an abandoned place when he turns down a hallway that's occupied.
Minyak satu, tungguin di situ. Ya, aku tunggu di sini no. Tenang aja no. Aku tunggu di sini kok no. Ya. Aku tunggu di sini. Bawa senter yang terang, please.
Dressed in white, a girl whose face we cannot see is kneeling in the darkness. Indra seems to hold back his fear so as not to startle the demon girl, but soon he turns around and takes off running. Would you stick around? That's a heck no from me. Every culture has its own folklore, but the banana tree ghost of Asia is particularly creepy. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit. We've seen banana tree ghosts in the past, but this one is extra spooky. Alien Angel writes, "Ghost girl crying in a banana tree patch. It is unbelievable what happens towards the end. Traditionally, the ghost hides out in wild banana trees and is with a green complexion, full black hair, and bright red lips. She remains incognito there until full moon drives her out of the darkness, which is when she is made visible at night. Often she is seen standing without touching the ground. Her lower half is represented as not solid, but wispy, like an extension from the trunk of the tree itself. Apart from the tree's fruits being inedible, many don't grow this type of banana tree in their compounds or homes because of their haunted nature. This is also why if you cut a banana tree from the clump in Thailand, it's seen as a bad omen, while the witch is believed to be for the most part a good witch, even going so far as to offer food to Buddhist monks who pass her by. With this bit of background, take a look at this video. The Wailing Witch is clearly visible in this banana tree, her long black hair and light green shirt seen amongst the giant banana leaves. What isn't clear is why she's crying like this. Or is that crying coming from the person viewing the witch? Is it a cry of fear? The viewer doesn't have to be afraid for long, as the witch soon vanishes, flashing up out of the tree and out of sight. While some in the comments say this is surely a witch, others aren't so sure. Redditor Pete318 shares his own personal view, writing, "There are some areas where spirit people congregate, and you can tell these areas by several things you feel when near them. Whether you believe in the haunting of nature or not, this video is proof that there are some things out there that will forever remain a mystery." A diving instructor named McFear 1991 notices a giant underwater sea creature slither up to some students under his watch. Their backs are turned and there's no way to scream or otherwise let them know, so the brave diver does what he has to do. He grabs the snake to make it change course. It takes one look back and seeks shelter under a rock. What he calls an awesome sea snake encounter, to me would be nothing short of downright terrifying. I'm especially interested to know if this is an olive sea snake like he says. If so, Google says they are known to approach divers with curiosity and that they rarely do anything to them, but when they do, it does not go well. Not what you'd want to surprise you from behind with no gloves. Oh yeah, and one more scary thing. He calls this thing a juvenile in the description. If that's not considered full grown, then I can't imagine how big these snakes must get. Worms aren't only found in insects. They can also be found in that next bell pepper you buy from the produce aisle. The uploader writes, that thing was in a pepper. Looks like he wants to grow in someone's gut, lol. What is that thing? The thing looks like a tapeworm, but according to Snopes, the worm inside the pepper actually isn't that dangerous. The viral video came to light in August of 2019. The stringy worm moving inside the pepper was something a lot of viewers couldn't unsee apparently, and many saw it, as it was reposted on Facebook a million times, with viewers warning about the worm. Some posts warned that the worm was called Symbla Merch, and that it was a new type of worm that delves into moist areas of the body, resulting in possibly passing away. The claims, however, like so many posts on Facebook, were inaccurate. One said it might be a horsehair worm, which we talked about in the previous parasite entry, but adult horsehair worms are darker. Even the original message was false. This is not a new type of worm. It's been around since the dawn of time. Lesson learned, clean and prepare your green peppers properly, but still eat them. Another lesson learned. Lord British LP is standing on his porch as a big storm rips through his neighborhood. His internet is down, so he records a video about nothing in particular to help pass the time. That's when he temporarily goes blind. A bolt of lightning hits the street lamp in front of his house and fills his vision with whiteness. He runs cursing into his house to get away. It's easy to miss, so I circled the street lamp that was struck by lightning to give you a better look at just how close he came to being literal toast. A YouTuber named Phoenix is alone in the woods trying to record nature sounds for an ASMR channel when everything goes wrong in the scariest way possible. A scary loud scream from deep in the woods has Phoenix running and later wondering what this unknown creature could be. No native animal makes that sound, he says, though for some reason it kind of sounds like a goose or something like that, and there's water nearby before the scream occurs, so a bird could be exactly what this mysterious creature is. Tell me if you know what kind of scream this was, and how much danger was Phoenix really in during this scary moment. Lethal Gamers is a YouTube channel full of cool gaming videos, but one in particular is unlike all of the others, and not in a good way.
Look at this. There's a baby face clear as day in the window.
I don't know if it's the face of a baby or not, but I can see the eyes, nose, mouth, chin, neck, hair, and ear. It looks to be wailing in anguish. Lethal Gamers says that his floor is up way too high for someone to press their face against the glass. Beyond the reflection of his room is nothing but night sky.
Look, this is my kitchen window. But the crazy part is when I first looked at this, when I first saw the face, it looked like it was looking straight out. And now it looks like it's turned.
And get this, he also says that this face was looking the other way minutes ago, and 20 minutes after this video was taken, it was supposedly gone, but without the video proof, we'll never be able to explain if this was real or fake. This family claims that no matter what kind of baby monitor they have, or what frequency they change it to, this haunting melody always finds its way to their child's ears. They even claim that this song has played on baby monitors without the batteries in, though I find that hard to believe. Live TV caught the earth-trembling tsunami that smashed into Japan. After a magnitude 9 quake on March 11, 2011, the images that followed are pretty terrifying. The earthquake was so powerful that it was felt everywhere, from the fjords in Norway to the ice sheet of Antarctica. It was so powerful that it redistributed the Earth's mass and shifted it on its axis. Our day's length has been cut short by a microsecond. It was so powerful that Honshu, Japan's main island, was moved about 8 feet east, and as the tsunami traversed the Pacific, 110,000 nesting seabirds were taken out by the 5-foot wave. It was so powerful that aftershocks continued to hit Japan during the year that followed, 5,000 to be exact. It was so powerful that 6 years later, and the tsunami's devastation is still being dealt with in Japan, where of the 150,000 evacuees still left, whose homes were lost to the quake, a third are still in temporary housing. As for the cost of damages in US dollars, it rang in at about 199 billion, but because the earthquake was followed up by the tsunami, and both were unexpected, the 2-in-1 had devastating results. It got worse. A cooling system failure resulted from the tsunami at the Fukushima nuclear power plant, releasing radioactive materials. A horrible event in and of itself. Told you, nature can be terrifying. There's a good reason why this creepy kid's bike has been relegated to the roof. It is only supposed to play this lullaby for a minute, but so far it's been a half hour and counting.
5:30 in India here, and this is so freaking haunted. Nope. Help. No. Stop it.
The voice soon changes to a more sinister tone, and I think I can almost hear other voices coming out of it too.
I'm running away. What the hell is that? Oh my.
A laughing child runs from one room to another, and something horrifying seems to playfully chase her. The shifting shadow follows closely behind and then disappears as quickly as it came. Some people say that this is just a bug on the lens, but I don't think so. Look again and you'll see the formless blob squeezes itself directly around the corner. I have heard of spirits sometimes befriending a child before possessing them. Hopefully that's not the case here, but whatever this is, I sure wouldn't want it anywhere near myself or my family. A YouTuber and his friend are riding a motorcycle throughout the Indian town of Uti when they unexpectedly zoom past a pedestrian clad in ancient-looking robes. Watch this part, and if you happen to share their language, please translate what's being shouted at the person here. I'm guessing that they probably said watch where you're going or something along those lines. Whatever it is that they said, it must have really upset the other person, because after driving in a straight line for about another minute, this happens. They come across the same person as before. Yet this is impossible because there is no way that the person could have been traveling on foot faster than what they were doing on a bike. Suddenly it dawns on them that they were most likely taunting a spirit, and it looks like they actually get off their bike to flee. This video looks very authentic, and I'm inclined to believe it is real because there's no added music or sound effects, just raw footage. If anyone is from the town of Uti or lives nearby, let me know if these sightings are common in the area, or better yet, tell me if you've ever seen something like this yourself. Redditor asserted skirted motion-activated cameras detected motion in the middle of the night, but it isn't something I've ever seen before. Keep an eye on the bottom of the garage door. Here it is again, more slowly. Something appears to slip beneath the garage door, but it looks like a shadow. My guess would be that this is an unknown shadow entity. The way the shadow reaches out is even tentacle-like. What do you think it is? Build it and they will come, but maybe you don't really want them to come after all. Published by Grant Kopek in October of 2020. Something creepy calls this Cornfield home. Captured on a Ring camera, a homeowner is seen walking outside at night on the farm, but appears not to notice the enormous creature escaping from the cornfield in the background. As the man walks past, the large blurred figure moves from the cornfield toward a big garage to the left. It disappears behind some shadow in the background. Many in the comments think this is a ghost or an extraterrestrial, while others think it's simply a reflection from the man's jacket, although it very well could be the latter. YouTuber Master of None offers some great advice for the farmer. Don't sleep ever again. If I lived beside that cornfield, I'd have to say I'd be doing the same thing. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by BushWookie83, this redditor wrote, "Looks like Mike Myers paying me a visit. WTF is that?" Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about.
Hey man, that was cool. What are you doing? What's going on? You okay? Can I get away? Do you want me to say how you're doing?
There was certainly some debate about this video in the comments. Duck Consume Bread wrote, "Man, I don't know how you could just sit there. I'd already be moved out, lol." While Neo1LoneWolf6985 wrote, "It looks like the reflection of your flashlight on your phone, reflecting on certain parts of the glass, giving off the illusion of a face actually. Looks like the exact same tattoo I have of Michael Myers on my arm. Which side are you on here? Let me know in the comments." This creepy farmhouse will have you swearing off abandoned buildings for life. Published by DO's Urban Exploration in April of 2013. The uploader admits to being skeptical to the paranormal, but this incident made him consider opening up to the possibility. Da writes that the house sits about a half a kilometer from a road in Bobcage, Ontario. The house is isolated with just a barn and an outcrop of other buildings. It appears from a distance to be tightly boarded up, but a back door was wide open. He writes, "Now it is very possible all the environmental conditions were perfect for this experience. However, Wingman Jan happened to be with me on this explore, and we are in agreement. There was something more to this." He says the video doesn't really do the reality justice. The sounds were much more magnified, which he describes as like freight trains. He writes, "There was the sound of someone else walking. There was the sound of something heavy being dragged across the floor, and when exiting, it was like being followed out to the threshold of Inside and Out." Without further ado, let's take a look at the cryptic video. Even the approach to the house's exterior is a bit unnerving. The back door is under an overhanging, which our friends sneak beneath to catch a glimpse of a bunch of knickknacks and garbage littering the ground, including an old sewing machine. The back door is wide open, it's dark inside. They climb the steps to the kitchen area, also disheveled and covered with odds and ends. Once inside, they're stepping over the trash and other items on the floor while scanning the rooms with a flashlight. They enter the living room. Something on a door across the room flies up. It appears to be blown by a breeze. The door then opens and slams shut, while our brave Da backs away. Instead of racing out of there, they get closer. The door keeps creaking open and slamming shut again. He finally enters the empty hallway. No one is there. He shines the flashlight upstairs, and just when you think he's going to explore that second level, he hurries the heck out of that house. Probably a smart idea. The house alone is unsettling. I can't imagine what being there in person must have felt like. Although Dad knows some might call him a coward for being afraid, he insists that you had to be there to know what it truly felt like. On the contrary, most people believe in the comments of this video that Da was brave to stay in this obviously haunted house as long as he did. I'm one of them.
And I always look up to the sky and I always say, "Hi, Dad."
That's how a YouTuber named Jennifer Moen5 pays her respects to her dad, who has since passed on. Then one day it looks like her father says hello back to her and her family.
Oh boy.
You can see a shimmering orb rise and fall to the ground as soon as she says hi to her father. I wanted to add that this is the only paranormal video on Jennifer's channel, which otherwise focuses on enjoying wholesome moments with family, so I really don't think this is video editing. I also wanted to ask that everyone please show the utmost respect when telling me if you believe this is real or fake, since it deals with the memory of a loved one. A YouTuber named Confuseo Mental orders a box off the dark web that he's not so sure about, so he puts on some gloves. The first thing he unfurls is an old scroll with what I think could be ancient Hebrew text, translated if you can. I will admit the paper itself looks like it could be artificially aged, but who knows? Wrapped and locked in a tiny casket with similar text adorning the top. Again, translate if you can, please. Something tells me that this is either a blessing to help guide this tiny soul to the other side, or else a warning telling others not to open it. A warning that's totally ignored as he continues to handle the object. I'm curious about what these numbers across the top with the letter E at the end could mean. I'm sure someone out there is smart enough to figure this all out. He puts a mask on ready for the stench of something rotting, but instead finds this extra creepy demonic doll and look into the center of its eyes at 26 minutes and 13 seconds. They're reflecting light. Now that's certainly creepy. What would you do if you saw this happening in your home? Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by Raymond Powell. Raymond writes, "Not proof, but it definitely freaked me out. Looking for advice. A screwdriver sitting on the counter is moving on its own with no one and nothing near it to cause such behavior. Raymond runs over to the cupboard, opening it to see if there's anything under the counter that might trigger it. He turns up nothing. Picking up the screwdriver, he looks around his home. When he starts hearing random pounding coming from above, he gets his step stool to open the hatch above his attic. He calls out a greeting but catches nothing up there on camera. While some in the comments were waiting for a jump scare, others like Redditor Everything is Dumb 0624 were trying to find answers. You either got a ghost or a person living in your crawl space, he writes. I'm not sure which one would be worse. Two fishermen cast their reels into the Gulf of Mexico without a care in the world. 20 minutes later, they only have one care in the world, getting out alive. The pair finds themselves caught in the middle of a giant storm system gathering overhead. Going backwards means traveling in the same direction as the storm, so the only thing left to do is charge deeper into the storm and hope to come out the other side in one piece. The storm hasn't even begun yet, and you can see the waves are almost coming into the boat already. They need to hurry if they ever want to see dry land again. The storm gets worse and worse until they can barely tell the sky apart from the sea. Everything is just a big swirling mass of gray with absolutely no visibility, except for the occasional crack of lightning to illuminate their path for a few precious seconds at a time. If things get any worse, their tiny boat will surely capsize under the crushing waves. Finally, after an hour of riding, they emerge from the traveling storm and return to blue skies. You can tell that they are truly safe because they can stand fully upright again. If you encounter a child spirit, be wary. Posted to Facebook by the most haunted places in Pakistan in August of 2019. This video is actually based in Thailand and surrounds the mythological spirit of Gongoi. The dark-haired sprite is said to be humanoid and child-sized. She hops around on one leg and screams out Gongoy, which is the source of her name. This video purportedly shows that creature at the edge of a tie field in the darkness of night. You at first see the figure's dark hair as it's still and hunched over near the grass, but then it appears to become alert to the presence of others nearby as it stands up and starts hopping away on its single leg. If you're watching this video after 10 p.m., your nightmares will probably be populated by strange Dali-esque creatures like these. Hopefully they're not running towards you. Two friends are playing around with a camera in an old basement. I won't even tell you what to look for. Just watch and see if you can find anything out of the ordinary.
Bars down as I go, okay. Now we're gonna do some weightlifting.
Here it is again if you missed it. Let me know if you saw this supposed shadow person on the first try. I will admit that you have really good eyes if you did. If this video is real and not just someone who is dressed up, then this is definitely one of those videos that makes you wonder what other possibly paranormal events have gone on right in front of you without noticing. Ever felt like you were being watched? These three boys definitely had reason to. Posted by the Comics Man to the Chills Narrator subreddit, the uploader writes, "Some dudes go to the Danakil Desert or a park. What is in the first frame? The video shows three kids getting ready to do some parkour, everyday kid stuff, but not far beyond in the background. Look at what is watching them from a nearby tree. The figure appears like a silhouette and gives off serious Slenderman vibes. The ominous way it's lurking there makes the otherwise innocent parkour video intensely creepy. You can vaguely see the figure again at a distance. At 1 minute and 43 seconds, it continues to stand there in the clump of trees, and again around 3 minutes in. What is this thing? Do these boys have a lurker? Nowhere is safe." Paris might be considered to be the fashion capital of the world, but it also has a much darker claim to fame, a series of underground tunnels extending for miles where over 6 million people have been buried. As if that isn't enough, one day a videotape was recovered from the depths of the catacombs that still has never been explained. The VHS footage was taken by a single brave person as they explored the twisting paths of the catacombs, miles and miles below the city. The lone traveler journeys as far down as he can stand, which was further than most would consider to have been safe. He often stops to curiously handle and examine ancient bones along the way. He's poking around one forgotten pathway that's about 6 miles under the city when he suddenly stops and grows very tense. His breathing becomes heavy as he begins to frantically search for a way out. The beginning of the video shows him acting calm and collected, but now he is sprinting through the catacombs in a panic, only slowing down to briefly decide on which path to take next. The more you watch, the more it feels like he is being chased by something off camera. Finally, he pauses for just 1 second, and then this happens. No one knows what could have caused him to drop his camera and run like that, but it couldn't have been anything good. His identity has never been revealed, and his body has never been found. With this in mind, it is quite possible that on one night he became the newest addition to the catacombs. A Miami woman was fast asleep on her couch when an unusually creepy looking woman decides to enter her home, captured on the homeowner's Canary home security system. This stranger was filmed the entire time she rummaged through this house. Even more odd is how this woman hovers over the homeowner on the couch, watching her sleep. I originally thought this video was fake because the stranger looks like the possessed girl in your typical scary movie, but the incident is 100% real and most likely wouldn't be believed without this footage. This individual was never caught or identified. While most of the scary clips from the woods could potentially be wild animals, this one's a head scratcher. Published to YouTube by Ian Black in September of 2020. This isn't the shriek of a mountain lion or some other wild cat. This is next level terrifying. The roar echoes through the calm woods as though you're at the bottom of a well. While at first it may sound puzzling, the mystery is solved when the cameraman tells his dog, "We've missed the train."
We missed the train, Mo. We missed it.
but without such context, what would you feel if you were blasted with this off-putting roar during your nature walk? I guess lesson learned, stay away from the tracks. Flickering lights are one thing, but a switch visibly turning off of its own accord? That's a whole other story. Posted to the paranormal subreddit by Nutzak, the Redditor writes about this unexplained encounter that his brother caught on camera. According to Nutzak, his brother was home alone, likely checking on his family's dog Oscar, when suddenly the hallway lights started doing their own thing. He recorded the incident as it continued, and this is what he captured. Nutzak states that he lived in the house for 2 years and has always felt strange vibes, but never seen anything firsthand. He writes, "Now after watching the video countless times, I am stumped and believe there is something beyond our knowledge happening here. 2 switches control this hallway light. Both you can see in the video. One is right next to the guy and the other is at the end of the hallway on the left. According to Nutzak, you can see the light switch nearby turn about halfway down, which, as the Redditor writes, would be impossible to recreate. Next, it flicks off entirely, turning the hallway light off. This one you can see as clear as day. Some are all in with the paranormal theory, but there's always a skeptic among us. And this time it's Slick Air who states, a combination of loose wiring and a faulty switch can cause this. Others in the thread suggest not even faulty switches can flip off of their own accord. What do you choose to believe? This father and son paranormal team is about to check into a haunted hotel, published by Paranormal Boys in December of 2021. When they first enter, they find everything in disarray. They sit down around the table, and it sounds like something has joined them. As they're using their paranormal devices, they hear a strange breathing sound, and then another unexplained noise.
Oh, whoa, did you hear that? No?
Has someone taken a room at this haunted hotel? If so, they may never leave. Posted by Cosmic Messenger 01, this video teaches you that what's ever lurking in the shadows isn't what you should fear. The shadows themselves are. Taken at the Campo Grande MS Penitentiary in Brazil. The grainy footage shows a dark gray barracks, appearing empty at night, although it's likely not empty, as clothes hang on wires out of each of the windows. Now watch on the bottom floor as something appears to be moving on the side of one wall. The shadow person begins to move upward before moving sideways and appearing to duck down behind some clothing. You can see the shadow duck out again, moving in an amoeba-like style towards the wall and upward, before the shadow disappears out of sight. What is going on here? Is there a prison ghost here? Whatever it is, I don't want to find out. These two are having the time of their lives, but not everyone has come to the party. Posted on TikTok by Vina Saputri2. This scary video shows a pair having a grand old time swimming by a waterfall, but as the camera swings around, a creepy figure is seen sulking in the background. The mysterious figure lurks nearly out of sight, along the rocks behind some overhanging brush. It looks like a young girl with dark hair wearing white. Why is it watching them? Is this about to crash their party? She certainly doesn't throw off any party vibes. More creepy stalker vibes in my opinion. This resident office ghost is unusually helpful. Posted to the Paranormal Evidence subreddit by Nice Socks Dude. The ghost here opens filing cabinet drawers so that you don't have to. In the video, the bottom drawer of the cabinet slowly opens. When the cameraman pushes it closed, the upper drawer then slowly slides forward. Push closed again. Both drawers slide open on their own. The cameraman pushes them closed again, but they both again open, one after the other. Some in the comments think the load is too heavy. They might be spring-loaded or off balance, or the entire building's foundation has sunk, but at least one Redditor agrees that it's a ghost. Do you think this office is haunted? If that's the case, at least this ghost is helpful. YouTube channel called Mux9TV goes exploring some extra scary woods in Pakistan late at night when they find some really creepy stuff that leaves them really freaked out.
कौन हो तुम?
Out of the woods staggers a mysterious figure who refuses to speak for a long time. His eyes look haunting, like he's seen too much in too short a time and has been wandering for days, unable to get it out of his mind. The group does not know how else to help this person, and so they recite some words of faith over him, which works to the extent of scaring him away back to wherever he came from. This doesn't look like a ghost sighting so much as the aftermath of a person who has had a paranormal experience of their own in the forest and has succumbed to madness in the days since. Either way, they're definitely not the type of person you'd want to encounter in the woods, so I bet the group is relieved when he runs away, but at the same time, he could probably use some help. Hopefully he finds peace, but with that scary stare, I don't see how such a thing is going to be possible. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.